is up and welcome back to my channel. As you can tell, my sweater is not going to stay on my shoulders. As you can tell from the title of today's video, I wanted to sit down and talk to you guys about the goals that I have for 2019, and not necessarily channel goals because I did kind of already address that. I will link the video up above for you guys in the cards, but I wanted to sit down and talk to you guys about my personal goals for 2019 because I've been seeing a lot of stuff, as one usually does on Twitter, about people being upset with people talking about their 2019 goals, like their New Year's resolutions, those kinds of things. Now, some of these I've already implemented. I actually started them like months ago, but I do see value in starting over in the new year, and I don't necessarily think that there's anything wrong with that. Yes, I think it would be ideal to be able to start something when you feel inspired to start something, but most people don't really function like that. And to have something as exciting as the new year, as a fresh new year that you can just restart, I feel like that's really great. And I don't really enjoy hearing people, kind of looking down on other people who have these New Year's resolutions. So I did want to sit down and talk to you guys about the goals that I have for my personal life, for like my mental health, things like that today, because I think these videos are also really fun to watch because you can get inspiration from them and you can kind of decide if maybe one of these goals should be one of your personal goals, or you feel inspired by something that someone says. And I don't necessarily think people may get that from this video, but I did want to sit down and talk to you about it today. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. So obviously we have the normal resolutions that a lot of people have, like losing weight and things like that. I do have that on my resolution, but it is for an entirely different reason. I'm getting much older. My 29th birthday is on February 6th, so it is coming up for me, and my husband just celebrated his 29th birthday on Christmas Eve, and we're really feeling the effects of just naturally being older. Now we're not, 16 anymore. I notice a really big difference in my body if I'm not sleeping, if I'm not drinking water, if I'm not eating good, healthy food, and if I'm not moving my body. When we lived in California, I used to run like 11 miles Monday through Friday every single morning. I absolutely loved it. And then I just kind of fell out of doing that because I feel like a lot of people feel like I've hit this goal, I have achieved it, and they don't really maintain it. And that is something, unfortunately, that happened to me. But the reason why I want to focus on that is because I want my body to feel good. I want to, like, me personally, at the weight that I'm at, I'm totally fine with it. I am absolutely 100% okay with that. I am 5'10", so I hold weight a little bit differently than a lot of other people, and I like my body shape. I was never one of those people that had somebody to compare my body to, and in that way, it never made me really look at weight loss or the way my body was built as something that was wrong. I never felt jealous of the way other people looked. I've never really experienced that, and I'm absolutely okay with that. But it really comes down to working on my physical health and feeling good mentally because of it. So that is something that I really want to focus on. I actually got a gym membership, and I've been trying to shop better while grocery shopping. It's just been a little bit hard with the holidays because obviously there's a lot of good food that everybody wants to eat around that time, and I need to kind of get back in check. But I'm not going to criticize myself if I want to eat something that's not necessarily 100% healthy for me, but I am focusing on trying to drink more water, getting up and going for walks or going to the gym, just trying to be more active because I really do feel like that also helps my mental health. The next thing that I really want to focus on is cancel culture. This is something that really hit me last year with a lot of friends, or even people that weren't friends, making, the wrong move online. And online is it's like a giant game of telephone. Unless somebody's blatantly saying, I hate this person, I hate this thing, everything is up to interpretation. And feelings do get hurt. And I do feel like there is room to apologize if, hey, maybe I'm sorry I didn't explain this very well, or that's not really what I meant, or I'm sorry that my words affected you. I think that's totally fine. But cancel culture really annoys me because I feel like every single person can make an online mistake, or, can make even a mistake in person, and you're really missing out on friendships or relationships with people. For example, there was a video that went up by my friend Scott about his booktube newbie tag, and it was really kind of bad. Even I commented on it and was pretty pissed off. And since then, we've actually become friends. We chat on the regular about books that we're reading. We have very, very similar reading tastes. And I think if I would have bought into the cancel culture, I would have been really sad to miss out on a friendship with Scott. So I'm really glad that I have moved on from that in 2019, and I want to fight for things that truly matter, and I don't want to fight for my feelings getting hurt. And that's just me personally. If people want to be upset or they feel like they've been really wounded by somebody, that's totally fine. Like I said, these are just my personal goals. I don't want to say buy into the drama, because if I do speak up about something, it is because I feel like it is already something that I really need to speak up about. But just being so mentally affected by things that really don't involve me. And it becomes a little bit hard when it is your friends that are being, wounded by these things that are happening, and you can still love and support them and, cheer them on and not really need to be in that. So cancel culture and that whole, I don't want to say drama, but that whole sphere, I kind of want to pull myself out of it this year and just really focus on things that make me happy and lifting up my friends and showing them that I love them without needing to go to bat and sacrificing my mental health for that. The next thing that I really want to focus on is being more open-minded. This is something that I've really struggled with over the last 4 months. There have been a lot of life changes for me. Some of them are really hard at the time, but have become really great blessings in disguise, I guess you could say. But just being more open-minded to something, I'm definitely one of those people when somebody tells me something, if I'm not familiar with it, or for example, if I'm like uncomfortable with it, I just immediately shut down all conversation about it. I don't want to talk about it. And even if maybe there is scientific fact for something, or there is a lot of research that is done, I feel like even then I just don't want to hear it. And I want to be more open-minded to that, because the more you grow and change and the more you're learning, that means you're still alive, you're still growing, you're still a human. And I feel like when you get to the point where you don't want to learn new things and you don't want to be open-minded to new experiences or open-minded to new ideas and thoughts, it can really stunt your growth as a person. And at that point, you might as well be dead, because you're not learning anything new. You're not taking anything new into your life and into your mind to expand an idea. And it's okay if another thing that I want to focus on is it's okay if you learn something about something that you were not familiar with and you still are uncomfortable with it and still don't necessarily want to associate with it or be around it or don't support, but you can make the conscious decision to allow other people to do that. And that is something that I really want to focus on with being more open-minded, is also just releasing control and letting people in my life, whether it be, my husband, my family, my friends, whoever it may be, my coworkers, just live their life. And that is something that I think really plays into just being more open-minded about how people live and the things that they're into and, their interests, and wanting to learn about it. And it's just a really important thing that I want to focus on in 2019, to really expand my mind and expand my knowledge and just get a lot of the shit that I don't really care about out of my brain and put more stuff in that I really want to learn and understand and be more open-minded to. So another thing that I really want to do, which I have been really trying to do over the last couple of weeks, is to cut down on my online time. I actually installed an app, I believe it's called Your Time, on my phone, and you can select certain apps and then it tells you once you've hit your threshold for the day. Starting out, I started out at 3 hours, but just having the app on my phone, I've cut it down to about an hour and a half a day already. This doesn't include responding to YouTube comments. This doesn't really include responding to YouTube messages and Instagram messages and Instagram comments. Sorry, I can't talk today. But I really do want to try to incorporate all of my phone time essentially on this app, because the internet really can be a draining place, but it can be a really wonderful place. But I feel like if I'm going into it and I don't have a set amount of time that I really want to spend on it, I can spend hours and hours on it and I'm not really accomplishing my goals. I'm not getting out and living. I'm not experiencing things. It's also part of the reason why there haven't been vlogs recently, because I've just been focusing on myself and what I want to do and experiencing things without having my phone out. And I needed to make a clean break for a little while to be able to slowly start incorporate that into it, to make sure that I'm spending less time living online and more time actually living out in the world that I live in. Another thing I really want to focus on this year is trying things that scare me. So I obviously have anxiety. You guys know I've had multiple discussions about my anxiety. And this year I really want to try things that scare me. So once a month I want to try a new experience. So a really great resource for this is actually Groupon. I got a lot of things from Groupon, little events that I can go to or things to do. One of the things I actually got was a tour of a reformatory near where we live, about an hour away, that actually they filmed Shawshank Redemption at. We got tickets to a bounce. I always want to call it a bounce castle, but I'm pretty sure those are those things that you bring to children's birthday parties, which are fantastic, but that's not what I'm talking about. But it's an entire building that basically has trampolines in it, and it really scares me. Being around people sometimes in new situations really scares me, but most of the time they're not even looking at you, and that's something that really scares me. Is my anxiety going to flare up? Are people looking at me? Am I going to mess this thing up? And I want to be done with that, because it is to the point where I'm nursing my anxiety and not trying to work with it or get past it and respect it for what it is, but try to still live my life outside of that. I just don't do things because I'm afraid to do them. And that's debilitating, and it's really unhealthy, because I developed anxiety over the last 3 or 4 years, and Up until then, I would fly places, I would try new things, try new foods, experience things, and I loved flying, and I could not tell you what would happen to me if I tried to get on a plane now. I would probably just cry and pass out and freak out, and I just don't want to do that this year. I just want to try things that scare me, to slowly get out of my bubble, to try new things, including traveling. Traveling is very big on my list of things that I want to do this year. I really want to travel. I really want to waste less money on personal things like makeup or books, or not really books because they're books, but you know, just pointless shit that you don't really need, and spend more of that money on experiences. And that ties into saving money to buy a house. It ties into paying off my debt. Big things that I need to do this year to really get a grasp on my life, because my goal is to buy a house within the next 3 years. And I really want to have a big chunk of money to be able to purchase new things we may need for the house. And I don't know, I just don't want to be afraid anymore of all of these things. And I think getting out and doing more activities that scare me, I'll want to spend my money more on that, as opposed to buying pointless shit, which in turn will help me be able to save money and pay off debt. And I know this is something that a lot of people really struggle with, because buying things online or going out and, you know, going shopping and going wild, like, it feels really good in the moment, but then you're left with a lot of pointless shit. And I don't want to be that person anymore. I don't want to be that person anymore at all. I have 2 more goals that I really want to talk about. The next one is to meditate more. I actually downloaded the Headspace app, and I do pay for it monthly, because I felt like of all the pointless subscriptions that I have, or of all the things that I was kind of wasting money on, it's like 3 coffees a month, and I can totally manage that. And it is something that I think will really help me. My husband is a huge meditator. It is something that he's been doing for a very long time. There was one point in time, I think he meditated for every single day for like 6 or 9 months, and I just was my anxiety was so bad that sitting there and trying to be quiet in the moment made me even more anxious, and I'm to the point where I think I could probably do it now. So I've been doing little meditations here and there, but Headspace is also really good because you can set up kind of programs as you go, like things to follow, like a set, like, you know, this day I want to do this day I want to do this, and you can kind of track your progress. And I'm really excited to get into that, because I feel like being in the moment is also really important to me for this year. I read something that said, you know, the past is a construct. The past exists, but there's nothing you can do about it. And focusing on your past obviously robs you of the moment, and it robs you of your future. But if you also look at it another way, the future does that too. If you focus too much on, you know, where am I going to be? What am I going to do? How is this action going to affect the rest of my life? Instead of just living in the moment for the thing that makes you happy, it both can rob you, the past and the future. So also with meditating and being quiet in myself and just being here in the moment, I really want to focus on just living every day, day to day. So if something happens the day before, if I get into a fight with my husband, if I get into it with a coworker, if a customer is rude to me, whatever it may be, leaving that in yesterday, not focusing on it today. And I feel like that's something that I really need to do for my mental health, because I am like an elephant. I do not forget. Elephants have fantastic memories, and I am basically an elephant. I could remember everything, and it takes up a lot of my time. It takes a lot of my emotional time. It makes it hard to forgive people. It makes it hard to move on, and it doesn't affect anyone but me. I mean, even if somebody wounds you and you may not have them in your life anymore, or maybe you do still have them in your life, you know, whatever it may be, focusing on the past only makes your present worse, in no way affects the other person. So if you're mad at somebody and they've done something and they have apologized, or, you know, you're trying to move on and you're not moving on, it doesn't affect them. It only affects you. So I just really want to take time to be in the moment and forget the shit that happens that doesn't matter, and move on, and let the past be the past, and let the future just be the future, and everything will unfold how it needs to be. And I cannot tell you guys how invaluable this is, like just being here and living now. It's just an amazing feeling, and it really takes the pressure off of forgiving people and things that have happened to you, as well as focusing too much on the future and missing out on what's happening now, and, you know, comparing yourself to other people and where they are in life and trying to get to that point. I'm not saying don't have drive. I obviously have drive, but I want to take my drive and my overall, you know, what I want to accomplish every single day, one day at a time, as opposed to thinking of the big picture. Because if you're looking at the big picture, you're oftentimes not looking at the steps to get there. And I just want to focus on the steps, and I want to focus on them just day to day. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is something that I've spoken about before on my channel, but I haven't really spoken about recently, but it's taking time to look better. And I don't necessarily mean, you know, like getting all fancy, putting on makeup, doing your hair, whatever it may be. But I am definitely one of those people where I'm in like jeans and a t-shirt 20% of the time. Like if I'm not at, and then like the other 80% of the time I'm at work. And I want to take time to maybe build a better wardrobe, to really wear the clothes that I own that I like, and to take the time to brush my teeth, wash my hair, maybe, you know, straighten my hair, put my hair up, whatever it may be, instead of just wearing a bun and a sweater every single day and just like calling it quits. Like I want to actually put effort into that, because a lot of my mental health is tied into, if I look like a bum, I'm gonna feel like a bum. So I look like $1 million, I'm gonna feel like $1 million. And that's another thing that's really important to me that I wanna do this year. Just focus on taking better care of myself and taking the time to put that effort and care into my appearance. Now, I don't care what anyone thinks about me. I like the way I look. People can fuck off if they don't like it. But just taking that time for myself to put myself together a little bit more to start my day off right, I guess is what I'm trying to say. All right, guys, now I have a few other personal goals that I'm not really going to get into that just revolve around really specific things that won't apply to this at all. But overall, those are the goals that I have for 2019. I would love to know down below your goal of 2019. It could be how many books you want to read. I want to read 40. I set my goal at 40 this year. If it is, you know, money, if it's school, whatever it may be, if it's like focusing on your mental health, focusing on a relationship, those kinds of things. Let me know down below, because I'd really like to know what goals other people have for this year. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys liked seeing a little bit of what I plan to do this year with my life. Now, a lot of this is going to affect my channel. Hopefully it will spur me along to create more content and be more active and just be here with you guys in the moment. But I love you so much, and thank you for watching this. If you guys did like this video, please give it a thumbs up and think about subscribing, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye! Also, holy shit, thank you for 5,000 subscribers. I almost missed that. But I almost cried. Like, I'm gonna cry right now just thinking about it.